be a little low tech on the video today, but I need to share some information with you that's really important that I don't wait till I can learn editing better and so forth. So, um, the title is like mold tips, uh, mold prevention tips. There's a lot of things. I use all these things in my own home. Okay. So you could use them in your office, your home, your warehouse, wherever you work, wherever you live, wherever you occupy space, where there's a potential for water intrusion. And essentially, that's in every building. Okay. Even if it's a um, shed, even if it's a shed, right? Because everything has a roof and roofs leak sometimes. So, anyway, I'm all about prevention and then when you do have a problem, tackling it very quickly so that you limit mold growth or your exposure, limit high exposure. So, anyway, there's several things that I want to tell you about, and one of them is uh, moisture sensors that you can put. I'm going to use a house as an example, but you can use this application in any building. So you want to have moisture sensors they're really inexpensive. For instance, here's one. I'm on Amazon, so I want to show you these straight from Amazon. These are called the Flood Buzz 6 pack for $39.95. Okay, they have their own battery. They operate off their own battery, and they have a high decibel alarm. Um, they have a high decibel alarm. It's 120 decibels. Some are higher, by the way. This one's 120 decibels, which will give you a high-pitched sound if it detects moisture, and it will detect moisture on the smallest levels. For instance, I have them every place. There is a potential for water intrusion. So under my bathroom vanities, right beneath my commode shutoff valves in the bathrooms, right next to the dishwasher, under my kitchen sink, next to under my water heater. My water heater is a little bit up off the ground because it's a gas unit. So right at the water heater, at my ice maker line behind my refrigerator, at my washing machine connection, right behind my washing machine on the floor. So this went off I was in my bedroom and I could hear it. And I'm like, oh, I've got a leak. And it was one drop of water that came from my commode shutoff valve. And then another time, my son called me. I was away on vacation, and he uses the whole bathroom, and he's like, "Mom, there's this high pitched noise going on. And I don't know where it's coming from." And I'm like, "Ah, go into the bathroom and open up the vanity and see if it's under there." And sure enough, there was a little tiny leak there. Now, the whole reason I started being alerted to this and wanting to look into it was many years ago. My air conditioner leaked. By the way, you want to put it in your air conditioning closet if your air conditioner's inside or if your air conditioner's in the attic. You want to get it right below where if your condensation drain line backs up, any place where that would first overflow. Now, most systems these days, which I highly recommend, they've got an automatic, it's required by code, the new systems, that they have an automatic shut off the system if that if that happens. But they all don't always work and they all don't work that way. So that's one type of a moisture sensor. Now, um, I'm sorry, I was mistaken on the decibels. It's a 90 to 95 decibel. They were using an example here, like a rock concert is 120 decibels. Vacuum cleaners 80 decibels. An alarm clock or a lawnmower is 90 decibels. It was just giving you an example. So you can get these on Amazon, and you know they give you pictures too where to place them and everything like that. So of course if you oops that's not that that moved on me. I'm sorry about that. So There we go. But there's another type, which I have both types. Um, let's see if I can find it. I have two types when I'm away, and I'm away a lot. So there's another type that you can buy that's attached to it's Bluetooth, right? It has a big alarm for the wall, which I'm looking for right now. I can't, I'm not, oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So here's one, it's 49.90. This one, this isn't the one I have, but this one's 49.99. Actually, it has a variety of prices depending upon how many sensors you buy with it. Okay. So one, two, three. So 7 sensors is $93. But it has the one I have has an alarm that gets plugged into the wall. Here's an example. That big one on the bottom, that gets plugged into your wall, so it's activated by your electrical power, right? So that alarm will go off um, in the house, but it also has Bluetooth technology, so it'll go off on your phone. So because I'm away a lot, I uh, I have both. I just insist on having two types. Now that may be you may consider that overkill, but I've seen way too much mold damage and in my business and even in my personal home um, to not do that. So that's one thing. The other thing is you need to have a humidity gauge or many gauges, maybe two or three, um, in your house. If your thermostat doesn't have one built into it, even if it does, if it does have one built into it, I'd say get one and keep it in the central area of your house, your living space. But like here is wow, I've not seen them this low in price. For 11.99, you can get a 6 pack, but the top one is for 5.99. The one that I use usually is Accurate, and it's 11.99. This is not Accurate, it's Thermal Pro, but it's very similar. See that one in the center there? The reason I like that type is because it gives you it gives you the current in larger numbers so that if you get up out of bed and you walk past it, because you want to look at it every time you walk past it. If you get up out of bed without your glasses on, it's pretty big. Most of the time you could see what that number's reading. But it also has below that the current temperature, and then it has either on the side or in the center, depending upon which brand you get, it'll have the highs and lows the last 48 hours. So if you've forgotten to look at it, you can see how high did my humidity get or how low did my humidity get. Temperature also. Now, this is helpful for a couple of reasons, not just for humidity, but that's the main reason I'm telling you about it. Because if your humidity hits 55 and starts rising to 60, you need a dehumidifier and you need to call the HVAC if it's summertime, if it's hot and humid outside, because we're in the southeast. So we're hot and humid a good part of the year, right? So, but if it starts driving up, then you need to call your HVAC contractor and have them look at your system, find out why you're producing too much humidity. And we are seeing a lot of problems with too much humidity in the newer systems. They're making them so much more efficient, and you may not need as much tonnage. And there's other things about fan speed and different settings, the way they're set up. Sometimes they're set up improperly because they're so high tech, and the technicians don't always know what to do. And that so if you track it from the beginning, then and you constantly track it, you'll know right away before you feel like you have a problem or before your problem's major, you'll know it. You'll be able to call for help about it. The same thing goes with temperature. I remember being in my house one day last year and I had gone out to dinner and the temperature, like I usually keep my temperature between 73 and 75 in the warm weather. And it was at 75 and I went out to dinner. It was warm. It was really hot out. And when I came back, it was 78. I'm like, "Well, something's wrong, okay? It's higher than what I set it at. There's something wrong with my system." So I knew right away. I didn't have to wait through the night and then start sweating in the night, realizing something's not right and have to wait till the morning. And I actually called my HVAC company, and they gave me a way to reset the system, and I got it working again in that instance. That doesn't always happen. So you buy your moisture sensors, you're tracking, you got it in places. You got to make sure your housekeeper, if you have a housekeeper that comes to help clean, tell them, do not throw those away. I mean, I've had that happen one time. I lost all mine because I forgot to tell the housekeeper, do not throw those away. Okay. So they get a little moisture on them, they will start sounding off. So you've got to dry them real quick. Okay. If you do that while you're doing your floors, for instance. So the other thing that you need is a dehumidifier. Everybody should have a dehumidifier on hand, no matter what. Now, I operate 3 dehumidifiers in my house. And, one of those is in my garage because I have got a lot of camping and hiking gear, and I'm very shady in my garage. And, in Tallahassee, Florida, where I live, the humidity is high much of the year. And I don't like, especially over the summer months, for, like, just common mold spores start collecting on my stuff. So, you can buy a dehumidifier for around $250. They've got some here at all different prices, right? This one is a 50 pint for 219, which is, I've not really seen them that low. But and actually they've got them lower. They've got them lower price than that. But generally you're going to go to Walmart, Home Depot, or Lowe's, and you're going to find they probably stock 35 and 50 pints. You're better off if you have a 70 pint, but anyway, 50 pints good. I have 350 pints at my house. And you want to, I've found that I feel better if the humidity in my home is in the high 40s, like 42 to 49. And you have to just see how you feel if you want to run yours. It will cost you electricity, and you will have to pay attention to it. And there's a lot of ways to operate a dehumidifier in your house, which I'll tell you about in a couple minutes. But you want to, um, the bucket, you want to have it, ideally, you want to have it so it drains into a sink or a tub or someplace that you don't, and then that drain line is secure, so you don't end up causing a water damage in your house because of your dehumidifier. But the times you want to use it are if your humidity starts going up above 55%, certainly if it's above 60, on times when you want to air your house out, but it's bring in some fresh air from the outside, which I think we should do daily. But you're going to bring a humid air in. So as soon as you do that for a half hour, 45 minutes, bring fresh air in, close your windows, and then put your dehumidifier on to get the humidity down quickly, is what I recommend. But if you have a water event where a pipe breaks or valve breaks and you've got water pouring all out under your kitchen sink, and you get the line shut off, and you get a bunch of towels, and you sop it up as good as you can, then you bring your dehumidifier, roll your dehumidifier right over in front of that sink with the doors open, and turn it on and set it on constant on, or 35%. But don't let it's going to have an exhaust air movement on it. Don't let that exhaust air movement go towards the wet area. Have it go away from the wet area. Because too frequently, even dry out people will put fans on it, and mold will grow pretty quickly. Um, I'm not saying that it'll grow instantly, because it won't usually grow instantly. But if you didn't catch that leak within a few hours, you've probably got some mold growing. And if that happens under your kitchen sink or your bathroom sink, you need to have somebody cut out the floor of that vanity or sink base so that you can thoroughly dry and clean underneath there, because the gravity is going to take the water down. And that's the place where we find mold problems all the time when people don't realize. It's like, oh, yeah, that leaked last year and we just mopped it up. But, your drain line goes and protrudes down into, you know, most of the time it protrudes into the floor of the base cabinet. And so you're going to have openings there, or even when your supply lines come up from the base cabinet, those are openings and they're not sealed openings, right? There's space around them. So water's just going to go down there. Like if you're standing in front of your kitchen sink, for instance, even your bathroom, and you just kick your toe forward, that's a toe kick. There's that much space underneath that area. So if water gets down there, it just stays trapped. You're going to grow mold. So, if that's happened, I would cut the floor out and let a handyman or repair person fix that for you. But you need to really clean it really good inside underneath there with some either white vinegar or peroxide and soapy water, and then let it dry really good with a dehumidifier. With a dehumidifier. And so you need to look real good, by the way, if that happens, to make sure you didn't water damage the other sides of the base that are touching the floor, because that will grow mold also. So having these tools on hand are super, super helpful. With your dehumidifier, it's ideal if you can have it drain to the outside of your home. I've had my handyman run lines for me to the outside, but for a long time I didn't. And so what I would do is I'd have to empty those pans, because even in the best conditions, the pans are going to fill up very quickly. The pans don't hold that much. When it says 50 pint unit, that means it'll take 50 pints of air of moisture out of the air in a 24-hour period. That does not mean that the pan holds, the pan that takes that water from the air doesn't mean that that's what that holds. Usually it holds maybe a gallon or something, right? Maybe a gallon and a half, not much. And you'll empty that 3 or 4 times a day, and you'll get very tired of emptying it. Now, I have another solution. It's kinda hokey, but, and you need to put a moisture sensor next to your dehumidifier too, or next to this next method that I recommend. So you can get like a $5 5-gallon bucket from Home Depot or Lowe's, and place your, dehumidifier up higher and have the drain go into that, uh, 5-gallon bucket, because it will last longer, but you're still gonna have to check it every single day and empty it, right? So it's because it's not going to the outside, ideally to the outside. And I have lots of other ideas that'll fit your specific need depending upon the way your house or your apartment's laid out. I have I have some ideas about using a rolling cart and rolling it over by the kitchen sink, draining it during the day while you're at work and let it run. So you don't have to hear it, because it does make sound. Sometimes I turn mine off because I just don't like hearing the sound anymore, just for a while I'm working or something. So anyway, I hope you found that helpful. Um, it's I just make sure that when you buy your dehumidifier, most of them these days come with a pump that will pump it out, and the pumps fail fairly quickly, so I don't rely on the pumps. I still place them at a higher level than the water is gonna drain, okay? Um, but it's good to have that pump feature in it. You want it to, you wanna be able to regulate it to constantly on, and then 35, 40, 45, 50, 55%. You wanna be able to put those settings on it, and you wanna have the biggest pan you can get, which it's gonna be hard. There's no such thing as a big pan for the container of the water. So, um, make sure you check your connections regularly, make sure everything's tight, put moisture sensors right near them, right near where the connection where it comes out of the dehumidifier, for instance, and then wherever your pan is. So, I hope that was helpful. That is, those are great steps forward in mold prevention from a humidity perspective, with your air conditioning system too, and uh, tracking your humidity. It's because you can get moisture inside your system that you don't realize is there, and then you've got major problems in your ductwork. Okay, if your humidity is high inside your HVAC system, so don't let that go. Increased humidity indoors will cause massive mold problems, expensive mold problems, and inside your ductwork and inside your home. So, if anywhere you can prevent. If you need to have a consultation with us, we're always here. Eric's Environmental, Tallahassee, Florida. Cindy Eric's here. Our website is indoorqualitymatters.com, and our phone number is 850-556-8888. And we appreciate all of our customers and all the people that watch this video. I hope it was helpful. If it was helpful to you and you're watching it on YouTube, for instance, would you please like and share and subscribe to the channel? Because we'll have more and more of these kind of illustrations, more illustratively than I'm doing right now. But I said, God bless you. Thank you for watching, especially if you watched to this point.